Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, friends and neighbors across the YouTube nation. Good to have you along this morning. If you're watching this as a rerun, you can skip ahead 27.8 minutes and go from there. So there you have it. So as soon as we get some folks coming on here, let me know how audio. Let me know if the audio is clear for you. And we'll start our pregame warm-up here. The radio show portion of this starts. Thanks, Greg. Good morning, by the way. Morning, Waylon. Thank you. How is the harvest going over in the heading or lemon side of things? Dave, good morning. Good morning from the land of 10,000 lakes. KGFX, good morning. Let's do the weekly turn my hair even more gray. Darn it, Waylon, I need to get that ivermectin cup from you one of these damn days, so. Oh, well. Been bouncing up the CRP fields here. What's the ground fog? You got fog over there this morning, really? Yeah. Good. Any moisture at this point here, it's getting a little bit crispy on this side of the country. Cheers to you, ivermectin friends. And if not, that's okay too. Matt, come on out, Waylon. Yikes. Those two things don't mix very well. Yeah. Wow. Note to self. Vitamin water and Remy Martin and ivermectin together, not good. Now you know. Always takes that one person to kind of learn that stuff for the next person, right? I think so. Let's call up John Armin. He promised he'd be awake this time around. So. Remember the old radio shows at the touch tones?
Good morning.
Morning, John.
How you doing?
Good.
You gotta tell me if the music in the background is too loud.
What are you guys at? You guys at a club already this morning, or what?
I'm just sitting in a little restaurant because I didn't bring any long sleeve shirts. And it's got chilly out here.
I'll let you know. Sounds good. All right now.
All right.
We're on YouTube, by the way. So, morning, Eric. Yeah.
Good.
Just getting things revved up here as the pregame show on YouTube.
Good deal. How have you been?
Been good. How about you? How's the family?
Everybody's good. No complaints. Just a little bit of traveling. Then went to Wyoming last week, or actually got back a
couple days ago.
Thursday.
Yeah,
Thursday. Went to school. Had to work for a day, and then turn and burn and come out here to Deadwood for a wedding.
That's right. You're in Deadwood. That's right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, didn't seem like it took you guys long to get your pronghorn on the ground.
No, it went well. It wasn't like hot and heavy, but we made them count. And, as dry as they are, it wasn't, I don't know. I must have missed something because there was a lot of antelope and they were going somewhere else, not at our water hole. It wasn't like 2 years ago where I had 90 in before noon.
Yeah.
So
was that Wyoming, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Greg Siemens, nice story on Wayne's bighorn sheep hunt in Eastman's Journal of Hunting. Want him a Weatherby. I seen that actually. No, John, if you know that or not, but a guy over here in the Hettinger area just got a monster bighorn sheep last year.
Oh, wow.
And if you look in Eastman's, it's even online. You can see it. I think the story is like the tale of two old bulls or two old sheep or something like that. Something like
Yeah.
that is the name of it here. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty awesome.
I'm going to take a look at that.
You know, the people, I know two people in this area. I should say this. I know two people in my life that have drawn for that bighorn sheep tag. And I'm not sure if Wayne's was in as a North Dakota tag or not, but I know Sean Burns was. And he got a monster one too, man. I mean, that's one of the tags where I think you're pretty likely to take a really nice sheep. So
yeah. Have they drawn that yet this year?
bighorn, I'm not positive on if they draw. No, I don't think they dig bighorn yet.
Yeah. Not that it makes a difference for me.
That's the last big game one I think they do because there's only like 5 or 6 tags or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think even less than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe someday. I'm not going to hold my breath or cross my fingers on that one.
I'm not going to hold my breath for much anymore when it comes to this.
No, it's getting tougher and tougher.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, we won't even talk about it. Well, we will talk about that.
We will. Found a little information, dug some information out on that, why they're having these meetings.
Yeah.
Which,
a lot. Like I said, there's a bill, and I forget the name, but I'll look on my phone.
I have it. I have it pulled up right here. And if you were given $1.4 million, wouldn't you go out and start having meetings? And
well, and again,
because if you don't spend it, you're not going to get it. But if you create more of a problem, they're going to give you more money.
And that's what this is all about. I mean, again, I think so. If that money is being used to actually solve the problem, but are they just going to test more and they just going to frivolously, like I said, do they have a plan for the money where you're actually going to have some scientific data and some serious biologists and people and scientists or whoever, vets or whatever?
Yep.
Deer Growers Association that are actually going to be trying to solve the problem of CWD, or is it just going to be like, let's just keep testing and say, oh yeah, we got a positive one here. We're not solving the problem. Yeah. It doesn't make any. It's not stopping anything.
Here's the issue I have with this. So this it's called the CWD Research and Management Act.
Yeah.
Now it was pushed by a lot of different organizations. One of them, the National Deer Association, North American Deer Farmers Association. Okay, then those two guys are the Deer Farmers Association are already well ahead of this information. I mean, they're in the forefront in knowing what's going on with CWD. But it's also sponsored by the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, Mule Deer Foundation, who are totally against deer farmers. And they won't listen to a damn word they say. And neither will some, I should not all, but some state agencies won't listen to anything that the deer farmers say because they're so against what they do. They're not going to take any of that into consideration. So they're going to take this money and they're just going to do their own thing, John. And I guarantee if we talk 1 year from now, hell, 10 years from now, if I'm still doing this, I guarantee we're in the same spot doing the same exact thing with more units closed up debating or in 10 years, I bet you there's even going to be like a recommendation limit for size of food plots too.
Yeah.
That's where I think it's going.
Like I said, my thing is that, and they're going to get this pushed through and this bill is going to go through.
It's already passed.
I want to know where the money is going. I want to know what they have signed it up for and where it's going and how they're going to utilize it. And I want a detailed thing on it because I think we have a right to know because it's taxpayers' dollars,
Where the hell are they getting all this money?
Well, they're just printing it, I guess.
70 million for this thing. Here's, a few billion for this and this and this here. Anyway, Wayne Muth says good morning to you.
Good morning, Wayne. Yeah, like I said. And
Wayne might have to call in and weigh in when we get into this portion of it here. So
yeah. No,
And
like I said,
here's the thing is, if they were to hold these meetings across, no matter who's holding the meetings, and take what other people say into consideration, they're holding the meetings because they need to. They need to show that they're trying to go out in the public and get public input. And they're getting the input, but they're not utilizing the public input.
yeah, no, we know that. And again, like I said, I'm going to try, and then anybody else that's listening, I'm going to try. I got to see the first one. I think is the 24th. Is it in Dickinson?
Yeah, I got it pulled up here. Let me. The first one is August 22nd in Fargo, August 24th, Dickinson, August 29 in Minot. Or Minot if you're from Minot.
Right. So the one in Dickinson, what day is that on?
That is.
Is that a Thursday or Wednesday?
Next Wednesday.
Okay. I'm going to try like heck so I can get out there. And I want to video it and record it so that I can play it back for people so that they can have input, the people that don't get a chance to be there.
I'll try to make her up there too. That's at the Grand Dakota Lodge. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think the Game and Fish should be videoing or recording every one of them and putting them out on their website so people can have input.
They should. They already do a web broadcast anyway. Stations 70015. 70015 on Mark. 70015. 80015 Central Time. Yeah, I agree, John. It's hard for me to break away. It's just a busy season. I'm fortunate to give kudos to a lot of my neighbors. They know what my feed situation is, and they said, Scott, we have this that you can put up on shares with us. We have this, we have this, we have this. My cousin Jason gave me an opportunity in South Dakota on some of his stuff. I've been haying since June 25th.
Yeah.
And I'm not stopping, man, until I have a 3-year stockpile that's going to be sitting in my yard. So now I moved on to CRP stuff. So here's the thing. Yeah. CRP. A great program in the 80s started out to take highly erodible land out of production because it was blowing away.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, agencies found out that, holy cow, this keeps more animals and it's good nesting. It's all that. But the farming practices have changed so much since the 80s. I don't really personally think that CRP is that big of a deal anymore, unless it's on super highly erodible land, because right now the landowners getting payments from government, from you and I, to keep it out of production. And this means you can't graze it either. It sits there.
Yep. Unless there's an emergency.
Correct, which is why I'm haying it now, because it goes off the previous year's emergency, which is why I'm being able to hay this.
Mm-hmm.
Rougher than snot, okay?
Yeah.
It's just terrible rough. Second thing about it, I put down 160 acres in the last couple of days. There has been 0 grouse, 0 partridge, 0 deer, nothing but pocket gophers and striped gophers, which is good for the hawks, but they only hunting that when I'm cutting it.
Right.
All right. I look across the road where they have durum and corn, and there's animals all over in that stuff. So I'm not a big believer that CRP is doing what people think it's doing at this point.
Well, I think that, in my opinion on this, it depends on the area and the amount of it, because I know, and again, one thing about CRP, to me, in the first several years of growth is when it's the best, because it's usually got more weeds in it. It's just growing, because I remember the days of walking some of that CRP, it'd wear your tips of your boots off. And then, like our fields now, we no longer are in any CRP programs, but we have pieces that are fenced off and it's just grass. The problem is the grass is, and we rotate graze or hay it,
Yeah.
We do strip haying.
Yep.
It comes back and plush, on the green year like this year, it's good cover. I don't know, again, how much of the nesting is done in there um, compared to the areas that we have fenced out and flash grays and the coulees and things like that.
Exactly.
But then we have feed up there too, so it makes a difference. But what I see a lot, like I said, the pheasants seem like they just absolutely love like the kosher weed and all the weeds. That's what one of the things about our farming practices today. They've gotten so good and everything's chemical based. And so if you spray your corn and keep it clean, it does the wildlife. I mean, yes, there's feed there, but there's no, they love that pigeon grass and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, the thicker the better. Yeah.
Yeah, and so what again, I'm not farming for production, so I'll spray mine just to give the crop its chance to get going. And once the crop is going, then I let the grass go underneath a little bit, so there's some cover for them. But
yeah.
I don't know what they have to do. The CRP out east, I think, could be crucial just because there's so limited cover.
Right. There's not draws and cricks and everything like we have. Yeah, I agree.
Right. And really the CRP was for, it's funny how a piece of CRP out in Jamestown area is would produce bumper crops for us.
Absolutely it would. Yeah.
They're highly erodible is like on a scale of 1 to 10, a 8. And ours is a 1.
Yeah.
We have sand and rock, and they've still got good soil in some of those areas.
Yeah, but the landowner had not only in CRP, but they also put it in plots. So the CRP contract says I can hay all of it, but the plots agreement says I can only hay 50% of it.
Yeah, so, and I don't know. They always tell me they have different pieces of
John,
plots.
Stand by. We're almost getting ready here to go on here. So stand by here. About 30 seconds. And the caller that's calling in, 214 number, stand by as we start the show. We'll stay and come back with you. So 30-second stations. We're going to come back here, go dead for a little bit. We'll be back shortly here with the start. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday edition of Dakota Prairie Outdoors. I'm Scott Bachmeyer, broadcasting from a little piece of heaven out in the Badlands, nestled right in between North, South Dakota, and Montana. That's right. Good little place to be, especially on a beautiful morning like this, breezy, but still a little bit of green in the Badlands still, which is really rare for this time of year, especially comparing it to the last 3 years. So pretty happy to have that. The great day today. John Arman from Ultimate Outdoor Adventures is my guest. Good morning, John. How are you?
I'm doing good, buddy, and I'm just lucky I didn't sleep in again and miss the show.
That's all right. We never told anybody that you slept in last week. We just went on with our business. That was you. It's all you, man.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
Hey, how are things in Deadwood, South Dakota this morning? Where are you sitting at right now?
I'm actually sitting in I'm by the Starbucks and by a casino, a burger joint. I just came down and found a place it's a little chillier down here, and I didn't bring any long sleeve shirts. It's supposed to be in the 80s.
It's just like that in the mornings. It gets warm as heck in the afternoons, and then the evening cools off quickly again. There's no doubt.
Yeah. It's a beautiful place.
The Black Hills of South Dakota, probably it's a favorite among everybody. There's no doubt. Anybody who likes the western side of North and South Dakota, they like it for a reason, is because we have stuff to look at. There's no doubt.
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, I'll tell you, it's an exciting day in South Dakota. Not only is John Arman visiting Deadwood, that's one thing, but did you know today is opening archery season for pronghorn antelope in South Dakota?
Oh, absolutely. I do know because I'm at a wedding instead of hunting.
Do you have you have South Dakota tag as well? I know you filled your Wyoming. We'll talk about that. So,
yeah. Shelby and I will be headed back down here. So it's going to be a turn and burn tomorrow. Back home, work for 5 days, and then back out here next weekend for a hunt for her. So we're going to try to fill her South Dakota tag.
Excellent. Well, good deal. Well, I tell you what, 888-932-5682 is the toll-free number if anybody wants to join in on the conversation this morning all across the world and YouTube. Thanks for tuning in on Dakota Prairie Outdoors Radio, 888-932-5682. John, we did a little pregame show on the YouTube side before we went on the air with the rest of the stations, and there's been somebody on hold here, and I'm not sure. I don't recognize a 214 number, but we'll see here. Who do we have this morning? Good morning. I think it might have been a telemarketer, John.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
That's what a guy needs it.
Well, why not? I mean, they're getting all the numbers anyway. So I'll give them one thing. They sat on hold for 10, 12 minutes before they realized that the computer's not going to pick up and talk to me. So anyway, 888-932-5682. John Arman from Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV. Reporting from Deadwood, South Dakota. I'm still up here in my home studio. Good to be along with you this morning. And antelope season started in Wyoming. You guys went down there and had a bang up. I thought it went good. I mean, as soon as I started seeing posts of pictures on social media, you guys just bam, bam, bam. There was another one on the ground. So tell me a little bit about your Wyoming adventures.
Well, this is a place we've been out, 7 years now, 8 years. I was looking at the picture that they have hanging in the old ranch cabin. It was like 2015. I think Kurt and I went down there and we shot a double in the morning. We were scouting elk out in Montana, drove to Wyoming and shot a couple of antelope before noon. So we've been going to this rancher's place. Big thank you to the rancher. So they offered up their old ranch house, which from the outside looks kind of like a Fred Flintstone house. It was stucco and green. And the guys are like, nah, I'm not sure about this. And the inside was super nice, super roomy. So we had a place to set up our targets. We had a place to skin out our antelope. And again, this is a rancher offering up a place for us out of the kindness of their heart instead of having us, stay at a hotel. So we've gotten to hunt this place. It's one of those places that we found through a lot of work and hustle. And it's where we pay a trespass fee. And I've always said I will pay a rancher any day of the week. And that's why I stayed at his place and gave him money to stay there instead of paying the hotels. I just think that it's the right thing to do if you can do. And we've been hunting there and it turned out good. I went down there last week, put cameras up, and the cameras were not telling me what I needed to know. I was getting a little nervous. And when we got down there, we adjusted things and there was a lot of antelope, but they weren't hot and heavy like we usually do. I mean, we had maybe 20, 25 come in a day. They were super skittish. And I think it was because they had moisture early in the year and the water hole is kind of in a dugout area and it was full of grass and weeds. So when they come in, they're on high alert.
Yeah.
Even though there's really nothing out there that's going to kill them, they would come in and they would sit there and stare at the water hole, and all of a sudden a puff of grass or cotton would float by, and they'd just like, boom, and they were out of there. But we picked them off one by one, and we shot 4 out of 4 bucks, and we had 1 doe tag to fill. And of course, we couldn't fill that the last half of the day.
People don't realize that some people, the pronghorn antelope, they like to see a long ways. And then when they put their head down, they still want to see what's going on. So when they're in that tall grass along the edges, and like you said, if there's any kosher or cattails or anything, it makes it a little bit more challenging.
It does. And they pick, and I looked, and there was trails beat down because there was no cows in there. So, and I even took what do they call those old swing blades or whatever?
Size.
And size. There you go. And cut down as much grass as I could before I got worn out, just so I could have something for the cameras and things. And the goats ended up coming to the opposite side of the water hole for us, and it was where there was the least amount of grass. Yeah. But then the water was left on in this tank, so it was, instead of being a small water hole, it turned into be a big dugout.
Yeah.
And so it was like 35 yards across. So they had a lot of area to water in. So it changed it a little bit, but like I said, we stuck to it. And a buddy of mine, Jacob Wheeling, who's a heck of a shot. He's Little Missouri archery out Kildare area. Yeah. He came with us, and he had a beautiful goat that kept coming in and was trying to water at like 55, 60 yards. And he finally came in, and Jacob pinwheeled him. So he made a heck of a shot. And then we had Philip Stotterill, who helps me out with our archery camps from Minnesota. He shot his first one. And I felt terrible for the guy because he was filming with our second camera. He was so excited, and he forgot to push record.
Oh, no. Yeah.
But, but he shot his first antelope. And I'm not going to say somebody missed, but somebody did miss, and I'm not going to mention his name because he's on the phone with you. It might embarrass him.
Hey, you got to do the misses too. You know, that's
No, I will.
one thing about television is you never see him miss a whole lot. And once in a while, it's like you want to be just, like everybody else. Everybody misses at least a few times in their life. I mean,
And lately I've been, I think I missed twice last year. And this year I missed. It was one of those deals that we had a beautiful buck that came in and it went straight on and straight out. So it rattled me. I'm like, oh, that was a big buck. I wanted to shoot him. I couldn't get a shot. Then other ones were getting sketchy. They weren't coming in. So you start thinking, am I going to get a shot? Am I going to get a shot? Well, a buck with a little buck came in and like 4 or 5 does. And it seemed like the does pushed his buck right next to me. And I went to full draw and he was like at 12 yards. And I'm thinking, oh man, I'm loving it. Well, my stabilizer was up against the blind because I'm shooting in the corner right with my back against it. So I leaned back, my string hits the chair. Couldn't shoot him. He blew out of there, and I was like, I blew it. Well, he came back around on the other side now, so now we have to switch things around. We're scrambling to get things, and I just kind of lost my composure. And when I shot, I missed him by a foot. And so I don't know if, and I'm not blaming anything, but I don't know if my cam or my string or if I bumped something because I mean, I'll miss, but my left and right was off by a foot.
Yeah. Well, John, we're going to continue talking about this here and open the phone lines up for anybody else who wants to call in, ask questions, advice, or give your story about missing, too. We got plenty of people texting. You can do that, too. 701-425-6651. Back after these messages.
As an independent insurance agency, Dakota Community Insurance partners with leading insurance companies to offer products that are designed around you and your farm insurance needs. As a leader in farm and ranch insurance, we can help you to minimize the risk to you and your operation, including farm equipment, livestock, farm buildings, and crops. Stop into your local branch to visit with our insurance agent or visit DakotaCommunityBank.com. You can rely on us when nature strikes. Dakota Community Insurance.
At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Morest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Piper's Western team of Andy Murdoch and Jim Sabby would like to invite you to sit down and talk about the future of land planning. Whether you're looking at selling, buying, or options to hand it down to the next generation, Andy and Jim will lay out all of the options for you. It's a great time to buy or sell, and with interest rates to make it profitable. Piper's Western team, Andy Murdoch and Jim Sabby. For more information or land updates, go to pifers.com.
Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can do it in a fraction of time with just one person on foot or horseback. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy. Western Frontier Insurance. Agents that understand you, your needs, and the community. Whether you're looking for coverage on your farm, ranch, home, or auto, you can trust that Western Frontier Insurance will find you a combination of price and coverage that works for you. No fancy jingles, no talking boxes or animals, just good neighbors helping to keep you covered. Western Frontier Insurance. Offices in Hazen, Washburn, and Wilton.
Did you know that Dakota Community Bank and Trust was recently named North Dakota's best small bank in Newsweek's America's Best Banks 2021? According to Newsweek, from over 2,500 FDIC-insured institutions, we are amongst the nation's top banks to serve our customers' needs in today's challenging times, ranking number 1 in North Dakota. We invite you to come bank with us. Stop in today to your nearest Dakota Community Bank and Trust and see what being America's best small bank is all about.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Pfeiffer's Western team of Andy Murdoch and Jim Sabby would like to invite you to sit down and talk about the future of land planning. Whether you're looking at selling, buying, or options to hand it down to the next generation, Andy and Jim will lay out all of the options for you. It's a great time to buy or sell, and with interest rates to make it profitable. Pfeiffer's Western team, Andy Murdoch and Jim Sabby. For more information or land updates, go to pfeifers.com.
On that road, but don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes, I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody. Dakota Prairie Outdoors Saturday edition. Make sure to check out my daily show on all of these radio stations, plus many more. You can also find it online at dakotaprairieoutdoors.com. Good morning, everybody. Scott Bachmeyer with you. John Armand from Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV is my guest this morning, and always taking your phone calls at 888-932-5682. That's again 888-9-DAKOTA if you can't remember that. Also, texting works too, 701-425-6651. Now, John, before we went into break talking about off-shot, off-balanced archery shooting, and that's something a person doesn't really practice much, and maybe we shouldn't we?
Well, I think you should. And again, I practice sitting, shooting out of the blind before the season and everything. But again, you're usually sitting, comfortably in your chair and not leaning, not twisting around the cameraman. And again, when you're hunting, you get put in situations where you may have to be sitting, on your haunches. You maybe have to squat and shoot. So, my daughter, who's going to try to do some spot and stock mule deer hunting out in South Dakota, I told her, I said, you're used to shooting at 20 yards, 30 yards, and you go to 40 yards, or 50 yards. I said, you need to start going to random distances, walking around the tree, peeking around the tree, ranging, going to full draw, coming, and you got like 3 seconds to shoot.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, just standing there shooting a static range. And I said, so those are the things you got to nail down. We used to do it a lot more when we were kids. We'd be like shooting through a gap in the trees, between trees, different things like that. And you got to do them in a hunting scenario. And a hunting scenario is not slow. Once you get to the animal, you got to range them. And when you go to draw, you're going to have, maybe a second or two to get that pin on him. Because as soon as they see you, what happens? They blow.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well,
Practice how you hunt.
I love spot and stock. I really do. So kudos to her going after mule deer that way. Gene Cox says a miss or a non-shot is just part of the hunt too. So you have to have those once in a while. You said it was kind of rattled you a little bit, but you need that to keep that I don't know, that want in there. That little bit of uncertainty that you're not always guaranteed you're gonna hit everything that comes in front of you.
No, it's that adrenaline. And again, for us, it's a little bit more pressure because you're hunting with two guys. And so when you're partnering with somebody, and JW is running the camera for me, and I'm like, okay, it's your turn to shoot now. He's like, nope, you're going to keep, until you get one. And then you're like, it just gives you that added pressure where and that's probably one of the reasons if there was, 5 or 6 antelope that were pushing upper 70s that were in our area, I might wait, but again, if you have a good representative and we're not trophy hunters that comes in, you got a good shot, you got film of it, and you got a hunting buddy that's next in line, do I sit there for 3 days and take up the whole hunt? And I don't care. I'm like so over. I try to shoot a good animal, and and these were mature animals. They weren't young bodied. So I'm more about shooting the older deer if I can. But if I can't, you know what? I'm not going to pass up on some opportunities. I love to hunt. I got a tag in my pocket, and I try to do the best I can. But you got to remember, we're doing this on weekends. We only have a few days to hunt. It's not like some of these guys that talk about all this stuff. They take 10 days off to go somewhere. I can't do that. So we do as best we can in this situation we're in, and I think we do an okay job.
Got a text from Dave out in Minnesota listening here. He says, on one of his antelope hunts, he practiced for long distances, but he never practiced for the 10-yard shot. He had a 10-yard shot, came up, and he took the hair off the top of the back. So, the guy doesn't think about that, too. Your arrow flies way differently when it gets closer than it is further. So you need to practice close-up range shots, too.
Yeah, you never know, and especially with antelope. You just don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a fact. So South Dakota opening archery season for ProngHorn today. Everybody's out having a good time. Please be safe out there. Make sure if you're going into the walk-in land. And did you know South Dakota's got 2 walk-in type of programs, John?
Okay, and I was going to ask you about that because when I was driving down, I saw blue signs, excuse me, that I haven't seen before. So what are the blue versus the white?
Okay, so there's walk-in land, which is just like North Dakota plots land. It's basically the same thing. You get paid a fee, you leave it open, whatever. But South Dakota has a great program called, I think it's CHAP, CHAPS, or I say SHAPS. But anyway, it's controlled.
I do.
Yeah.
I do too.
Controlled hunting of something. I'll look it up here in a little bit. But anyway, it still pays the landowner, maybe not as much, but the landowner has control over how many people, what they're going after, what they can use for hunting techniques, whether it's archery or rifle or slugs or whatever. It gives the landowner a little bit more opportunity to say, you know what? I mean, take this plots land that's next to me. When it comes to deer rifle season, it just looks like a sea of pumpkins out there, man. And it's just orange everywhere because there's no check-in. It's like, I don't know how many people are over this hill or over this draw or down in this canyon or whatever. They just go all over the place. But this controlled hunting in South Dakota is like, gives control. It still gives the landowner a little bit of reimbursement. Plus, it opens it up for hunters, but that gives the landowner still control over that. And I think it's a pretty nice little program.
I think that sounds a lot like Montana's
the block management, right?
Yeah, because they
Exactly.
have a type. They have like type 1, I think, and I might have reversed these, but one of them, type 1, is that you can just sign in, and there'll be, if you look at the box and there's like 8,000 sign-ins, you're like, okay, forget this. But they have other ones, I think it might be type 2, is that you have to gain permission and sign up for it, and then they only allow so many people per week in there, which I like because then it's not overrun. And I try to tell people that. I said, as good as your ranch is or our ranch is because of the management, if we open it up for one season in North Dakota, one season, unposted it, our deer herd would be decimated.
Yep.
Because you just can't shoot that many animals off of an area, And again, the antelope is a little different, and deer, if it was archery, I'd say, okay, if I gave guys, if you had a place and you said, okay, you're going to take as many antelope hunters that are spot and stock, and well, the odds of killing an antelope spot and stock are probably not very good. But if you're rifle hunting, it's going to change things.
Yeah. So it's a controlled hunter access program. And some of the guidelines, it depends on how much land you have. It says landowners with under 1,000 acres receive $10 per hunter per day of use. Landowners with 1,000 or more acres receive an additional annual payment of only $250. It's not like they're getting rich off this stuff by any means.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And it's kind of neat. So it's something that you and I have been talking that we should, the plots program needs to be kind of revamped somehow, some way, to because some of it never gets hunted. Some of it gets just
Yep.
like you said, just decimated. So it's interesting to see different programs, which I think is going to be kind of the next thing. So kudos, South Dakota, on your SHAPS program.
No, they got. And then question for you. So on the walk-in access, and I don't know if you know this, are you allowed to ride horses in on there or take bikes in there or anything like that?
On the South Dakota stuff you're talking?
Yep, South Dakota.
I would have to check into that again, but when I was living on the eastern side of South Dakota, there was it was walk-in only. But I never thought about taking a horse in there, but you'd think that would, I don't know. That's a good question.
And then I did find out last year because there was a ranch I was hunting in South Dakota. It was a private ranch, but they were leasing the state land. And I was like, okay, can I drive on here? Can I take my electric bike? And you know what? And I called the Game and Fish. And if I'm wrong, Game and Fish, you need to give us the right answer. But I talked to one of your people at that place, and if the rancher gives you access, you can drive wherever you want on there.
Interesting.
Which I did. Yeah, which I did not know because I was worried about. Like I said, he drove me around on it, and I was like, okay, am I illegal to drive my electric bike in on there? Can I stay on the trails? Can I stay in? And when I called them, they said if the rancher gives you access, you can drive on the wherever you need to on the place. So
that's interesting because I know one guy that tried to go retrieve a deer on his own property, private land, and got in trouble for taking his ranger out there and going and getting his deer on his private land. So
I would think they'd have a retrieval, and it might be you have to stay on the two tracks, And I don't know what again for a rancher.
But if it's your private land, it's your private land.
Well, and in North Dakota, you can go wherever you want to retrieve your animal. You don't have to stay on a 2-track. You can go off 2 tracks. Yep, you can.
Probably, but this guy got in trouble for doing it. But we'll continue this on the second side of it, and also talking about CWD. That's coming up your way. John Harmon's my guest. We'll be back after these messages.
As an independent insurance agency, Dakota Community Insurance partners with leading insurance companies to offer products that are designed around you and your farm insurance needs. As a leader in farm and ranch insurance, we can help you to minimize the risk to you and your operation, including farm equipment, livestock, farm buildings, and crops. Stop into your local branch to visit with our insurance agent or visit DakotaCommunityBank.com. You can rely on us when nature strikes. Dakota Community Insurance.
At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Morest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Pfeiffer's Western team of Andy Murdoch and Jim Sabby would like to invite you to sit down and talk about the future of land planning. Whether you're looking at selling, buying, or options to hand it down to the next generation, Andy and Jim will lay out all of the options for you. It's a great time to buy or sell, and with interest rates to make it profitable. Pfeiffer's Western team, Andy Murdoch and Jim Sabby. For more information or land updates, go to Pfeiffers.com. Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can do it in a fraction of time with just one person on foot or horseback. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy. Western Frontier Insurance. Agents that understand you, your needs, and the community. Whether you're looking for coverage on your farm, ranch, home, or auto, you can trust that Western Frontier Insurance will find you a combination of price and coverage that works for you. No fancy jingles, no talking boxes or animals, just good neighbors helping to keep you covered. Western Frontier Insurance. Offices in Hazen, Washburn, and Wilton.
Did you know that Dakota Community Bank and Trust was recently named North Dakota's best small bank in Newsweek's America's Best Banks 2021? According to Newsweek, from over 2,500 FDIC-insured institutions, we are amongst the nation's top banks to serve our customers' needs in today's challenging times, ranking number 1 in North Dakota. We invite you to come bank with us. Stop in today to your nearest Dakota Community Bank and Trust and see what being America's best small bank is all about.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Pfeiffer's Western team of Andy Murdoch and Jim Sabby would like to invite you to sit down and talk about the future of land planning. Whether you're looking at selling, buying, or options to hand it down to the next generation, Andy and Jim will lay out all of the options for you. It's a great time to buy or sell, and with interest rates to make it profitable. Pfeiffer's Western team, Andy Murdoch and Jim Sabby. For more information or land updates, go to Pfeiffer's.com.
On that road, but don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes, I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody, to Dakota Prairie Outdoors on a Saturday edition. And you're listening all across the Dakota Territory on great radio stations like KLTC in Dickinson, KCJB in Minot, North Dakota. We have K-Fire 550, the voice of the Northern Plains, right in Bismarck, Mandan. Right in the heart of Lake Oahe, it's Mobridge, K-O-L-Y, and the capital city, Pierre, South Dakota, KGFX. Thank you guys for all that you do, supporting a radio, not only that, live radio. John Armin's my guest here from Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV. John, not many radio shows are live where people can call in and just say what they want, but we have somebody. And are you ready to take some phone calls?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it here. Let's go to 605 number. Good morning. What's your first name?
Hey, it's Jeff from Eastern South Dakota.
Well, hey, Jeff, what's on your mind today?
Hey, nice show, Scott. Nice
Thanks.
show, John.
Thank you.
And a question on the antelope numbers. Been hunting antelopes in western South Dakota since the early 80s, 90s. And the state used to give out hundreds and not thousands of tags back in them days. And I know they go through their good years, bad years, but you just don't see the number of antelope like you used to. Is there something going on, or is just the way it's going to be?
You know, I heard the same thing from the mayor of Mobridge, said the same thing about the mentored hunt. He's like, they really dropped the numbers and the tags this year. What I'm looking at, so I've been putting up hay down in the Harding County side of things in South Dakota for the last 3 weeks, and the numbers down there are phenomenal. Now, I did know that some of my ranching friends down further south down that way, the EHD that was in the white-tailed deer last year, they claim that those guys said it affected the antelope numbers like crazy too. So maybe that has something to do with it, but I still see good numbers in certain areas. Maybe I'm just in the right area. I don't know, Jeff.
Yeah, but you look at the numbers of tags they give out, like Harding County, Butte, Perkins.
Yeah,
they're nowhere near like they used to be back in the early 90s, 80s and 90s. So I didn't know there's something going on out there with them that they won't bounce back. But
I think that, when we look at North Dakota, we used to be able to get, archery tags over the counter for antelope. And I mean, it's been years now. I don't know what it's been, 10 years or more.
12 years.
Yeah. And I've hunted eastern Montana. I've hunted Wyoming, and what I'm seeing is all cyclical because Wyoming has more antelope than people. But in the last 2 years, they got a disease, and I don't know the name. It wasn't EHD, although they got EHD this last year. But it was a disease to me, it was kind of like scours in a way that a lot of them had affected the mature bucks, and they get poopy back ends type deal, and they lost quite a few of them. Like in some of the units, they lost a lot, because we have a buddy that's on a ranch, and he was finding them. We were finding them, and that's been the last couple years that way. Plus, they got EHD, so they lost a lot of numbers. And when we have these bad storms, I think a lot of these antelope are smart, and they do migrate. I don't know if they always make it back. You know, with all the fencing we have and all the different things, you know, and then grass might be greener on the other side, so they just haven't moved, you know, because there's not enough antelope to push, you know, herds around. That I think that just over the years we've lost, you know, antelope here and there. Some of them have migrated, you know, they're still there, but just not the numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know,
Okay,
Jeff.
well, that sounds good.
I just think that the EHD was a little bit more affecting the antelope than people realize. I really do.
All right. Well, thank you for your time, guys. Keep up the good work.
You bet.
Hey, thanks,
Have a
Jeff.
good
Thanks
day.
for calling. Appreciate it. 888-932-5682 is the number. 888-9 Dakota is the number here. Appreciate the call. You know, and when people call in, I just have to remind my system, when you call that number, you're automatically thrown on hold, and we'll get to it right away. So easy as that. Now, you know, he brings up a good one. You know, folks from the eastern side of the state love coming out to the west. They like coming out, and they don't have the opportunity to go pronghorn hunting out there, or even mule deer to a point. So you think about it affecting those of us that live out this way each and every day, how lucky we are to be able to see it and kind of do what we do, John. But there's a lot of people that rely on coming out and having that fun and that hunting opportunity that they're probably not getting a chance to anymore.
No, and that's it. And again, I'm selfish. I'm a selfish hunter. I like it when I liked 20 years ago when there wasn't that many people hunting, and I had, you know, the roam of everything. But you know, things have changed. There's more people into hunting.
Yeah.
And like you said, a lot of the people from the eastern part of the state are, you know, watching TV shows, seeing things, reading articles, and it's like they'd like to come out and experience the same thing that, you know, we take for granted sometimes.
We do. And there's nobody selfish hunting. That's funny you say that, because I said the same thing to somebody before. I'm like, I don't want to lose my chance of getting the over-the-counter bow tag and a rifle tag, you know. And they're like, "Yeah, Scott, you get a gratis tag. You're a landowner. You get a tag anyway, and you don't have to pay for it." I'm like, "Oh, I pay for that tag.
Absolutely,
some way, shape, or form. I'm paying for that thing, you know."
Yeah, it's hard, because I've said that. I said, you know, here I'm the guy bringing in kids into the outdoors, and I'm slitting my own wrists in a way, because we're introducing more people, and I don't care what anybody says. They're just, we don't have any more room for any more hunters. And I sound selfish, but North Dakota, we're growing, so we're lucky. But again, you're running into less and less land to hunt, because they're not making any more of it. You know, 10 years ago, I could buy an over-the-counter tag in Wyoming because there's 1,500 of them left over. That doesn't happen anymore. Yeah. So people, even though the numbers they may say are down, people are hunting way more and way more intense than we did when we were kids. Everybody just hunted. I mean, just for weekend warriors. So it's getting tougher and tougher. And again, I'm, call me selfish, and you can scream and holler at me, but I love hunting that much that I will do anything to keep what I've had, you know, and following the law, that I want to keep hunting. And so I will try to outwork and out hustle anybody. And that's why we run to Wyoming. We make, you know, relationships, and we go down. I was down last week hauling hay for a guy because, you know, I had a day that I had to burn. And so I stopped in eastern Montana and helped pick up. And it wasn't a lot, but at least I was there trying to do something to keep that relationship going with people.
Yep. Well, you and I talk about it all the time, that relationship. So in 2018, John, in the entire United States, over 15.6 million hunting licenses of big game were sold. Okay, 15.6 million just in big game. That doesn't count gratis tags or youth tags or mentored tags or none of that. Okay, and that's just in the big game side of things. So that's kind of an interesting stat. Now we're going to switch tactics here and talk a little bit about legislation, because chronic waste disease is on the forefront of, I call it the scare tactic, because everybody's like, oh my God, chronic waste disease. Oh my God. But yet we lost thousands of white-tailed deer to EHD, and they're like, well, you know, that happens. That's natural.
Yeah.
What's wrong with CWD is not natural? Seriously. So this is the bill out of Washington gives, this was actually introduced by North Dakota Senator John Hoeven and New Mexico Senator Martin Heinrich, and it was supported by everybody around the Dakota Territory. I'm not sure if Rounds or Thune or Dusty Johnson down there was on top of this or not. I'll have to talk to Dusty and give him a call one of these days. But anyway, it is called what is it here? The Chronic Waste Disease Research and Management Act. $70 million per year. It's going to be split between the USDA. They're going to administer the funds through cooperative agreements with state and tribal wildlife agencies and ag departments. Okay. That comes out, if you take that divided by 50 states, what do we got here? About $1.4 million per state. Probably not going to be all of that. Some states are larger. They might get more. I get that. But still, if I had $1 million every year to give to you, John, saying, I want you to research this CWD a little bit more, what are you going to do?
You're going to take it. And again, when we talked in the break, my biggest concern about this, if they said there's $70 million that's going straight to scientists and guys, and they're going to, or deer farmers and people that have skin in the game, and they're going to try to cure this, I'm for it. But if they're just going to take $70 million and just piss it away like we always do, because if you look at our numbers, and I forgot to send it to you, there's a gentleman from Center that put together a PowerPoint presentation because of these meetings that we have coming up, and it is showing that we have 1% in North Dakota of CWD that's test positive, and that really hasn't changed. So are we just going to keep testing and saying that, okay, we have this many deer that are positive, and it's not changed? It hasn't changed Colorado in how many years when they said they
been there
discovered
forever, since the 60s.
Right, and I think it was something that's always been there. It's kind of like you don't know it's there, until you test it and say it's there. But again, are we just wasting a bunch of money and not attacking the solution? Are we just like going to keep doing the same thing? So what is the Game and Fish going to do with this money? When they get it, what are they going to do? Have more testing sites? That doesn't solve CWD. They're going to say, well, another unit's got it, so there's another one banned. And again, I'm still a firm believer that if it truly was what they say it was, if this was really the death to deer hunting, the death to deer all the way across the board, then show me the pictures of all these deer dying from CWD. No one showed any to me. The same picture. Okay, yeah. So the internet doesn't lie. You can find all kinds of information. But if it really was that deadly, don't you think that we would have been banning baiting, banning feeding, banning everything? If it was that, like if it was this pandemic, it's kind of like the coronavirus. We scare people to death about it. Scare people to the point where they didn't even go out of their homes. And we're scaring people so they don't want to deer hunt. Look at the number of deer tags, that they're trying to give out in some of these units that have CWD. They just want to decimate that herd. They want to get it down to, and so you get a herd down to, say, 10. That CWD prion stays in the ground, right?
Yep.
For forever, they say. Well, I know that humic acid, they're saying, takes it away. So why not start fertilizing with that? Why not do some things to help that? Because so you kill all those deer off and it's still in the ground. So those 10 deer contact it and it starts all over again. We're not solving the problem. So if it is a problem, then let's try to figure out how to solve it instead of just keep testing to death and wasting money.
But John, if you solve the problem, then they're not going to get their millions of dollars every year.
Yeah, I don't understand. And again, I know sometimes I've had people, and I'm sure the Game and Fish are like a freaking Armin spouting his mouth off again. And I respect the Game and Fish. I would never want their job, but like they make me accountable to be on TV, and they check me out, and they put me through the ringer on things, ask me questions. I'm going to do the same thing to them because they need to be accountable. I'm paying for them. They are paid by us. We do they're supposed to be working for us. So if I ask a question, I want an answer. I don't want to run around. I'm tired of running around anymore. When I ask them, show me the data that baiting spreads CWD, I want to see their data. I don't want them to say it does. Show me it, because I can show them it doesn't from scientific data. And so I just want them, and I don't care about the baiting. I don't have to bait, but it's taking it away from, mom and pops and some kids, and you want to take a handicapped hunter. How do you, it does help. So I just want them to be accountable. That's all I ask. And so if I seem like an ass sometimes, I apologize. But I'm one of those guys that I have to ask the questions because I hold people accountable for what they say.
So the meetings are coming up August 22nd, Fargo, August 24th in Dickinson, August 29th in Minot are the dates. And you can find more information on the North Dakota Game and Fish website. I really encourage everybody to attend these meetings, even if you really don't have any skin in the game on the CWD. Maybe you don't even hunt, but go there and ask the questions and find out the information, because I've talked to many biologists that are not employed by any wildlife agency from Texas to Florida. And they're all agreeing the same thing is there's no way that deer can pass it on to another deer with that much, because they would have to be humming like 7 or 8 gallons of urine a day they'd have to drink of somebody else's,
30, they have to be exposed to over 33 gallons of urine. And our Game and Fish has banned natural urine. And again, we talk about this. So if you really wanted to solve CWD, say I shoot a deer in 3F2, I can't transport that deer, right?
Right.
So I got to leave it there in the ground. So then it goes back in the ground and contaminates the ground. Why wouldn't you make the law or make it where you need to debone that animal, bring the carcass, and get rid of it in a certified area, a dump or somewhere where you could drop it off? So then it would take it out of the unit. So there's a lot of things we could do. And I say to the people that there's guys on there like, I don't need baiting. You guys need to bait. It's not about baiting. What you need to understand as a hunter is you're getting rights taken away from you.
Yep.
And where does it stop? And again, if they're making laws and decisions on scientific data and it's true data, then show it to me, then I agree with it. But when it's not there and it doesn't show anything, there's things that we could do to, let's not dump, 10,000 bushel of oats on the ground for a bait pile.
Yeah.
They could save as much as you can carry in on your back, say 50 pounds. And it's got to be spread out over a 20-yard area. So it's not a bait pile. It's natural feeding. You can do all kinds of things to keep people engaged in hunting, to make it, to help them to kill their animal or whatever you want to. And it's not about ethics. It's not about anything, because you can do that ethic things where is it legal to use trail cameras, crossbows? Is it, longbow versus recur or, compound? It's like all these things, ethics are to each person,
Yeah.
So I just think there's more things that we could do to help this and not destroy some of the hunting opportunities for people.
Let's go to the phone lines and bring in a 391 number. Good morning. What's your first name?
Hey, this is Wayne calling.
Hey, Wayne.
Hi, guys. Good show.
Hey,
Good show, guys.
We got a couple minutes for you here before we got to say goodbye to the
real
radio.
Quick. Real quick. I think Scott's point is very well taken. I think everybody should attend these meetings, and they should encourage the Game and Fish Department to come up with something as a solution. Like John said, this humic acid and fulvic acid that works for curing or at least prolonging the life of these animals works. And if they can maybe develop a bigger supplement that hunters can purchase or whatever they can to help with this whole thing, I think would be really great. I just think that the Game and Fish Department kind of has a blind eye on this a little bit, because I brought this up to some of the biologists and they kind of said, well, that's the same type of stuff that you find underneath the pine trees that kills everything. And well, even if it's a supplement and you have a small plot that you're having deer come into yarding hay fields, feed it to them. And, maybe we could help out with this. But I think encourage people to get out there to these meetings really and to get a solution, like John said, not just to sugarcoat it and say, well, we can't do anything. We're just going to research it more.
How about this, Wayne and John? Here's an idea. Take a unit. You say there's more. You got 2 units. Both have CWD that have been tested, right? Take one unit and do a 5-year study by, doing the acid thing, doing different ones and letting baiting happen in this. And the other one, you ban baiting, you ban doing this, you ban everything that you want to do. And then at the end of the 5-10 years, you bring that collaboration together and see which unit has either went up or down. Give me some data behind this.
Yeah, that would be a good idea, because like John mentioned, Colorado has had this since the 60s, and they have more deer down there now than they ever have, I think. And but they get into this mindset also of killing off everything in certain areas. I know Minnesota has done it, and Wisconsin has done it. And just kind of tears at my heart to hear that everybody can go out there and shoot as many animals as they can find in a unit just to get rid of them. And I don't think that's how you game manage. So
I got a text real quick. It says, are they going to build a fence around every hay yard and feedlot? Pretty sure not here, but
very good.
And but yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, thanks, Wayne. Here, if you
Thank
want,
you.
I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna put you on hold. We're gonna go after hours with you a little bit here, but I got another caller coming in here, so I'm gonna put you back on hold here, and let's go here. Let's very quick 220 number here. Good morning. What's your thoughts today?
Hey, morning, Scott. Morning, John.
Morning.
You guys are talking about scare tactics. Well, Biden's new Department of Interior Secretary wants to, once again, here we go, with banning lead on all federal lands, and that includes your fishing, tackle, your weights, and all this crap. How long have we heard this thing about how lead's just ultra bad for you? It's the worst thing you can hunt with. People have been hunting with lead cord bullets for how many years, and I've never met one person who's got lead poisoning from eating their deer meat or their fish from using lead weights. So just so everybody's aware of that, that's another thing they're trying to do to restrict our freedoms here and piss people off. So
yeah,
that's about all I got for you guys this morning. I barely got some reception here. I've been listening to you guys. Good show. I just call in and give him my 2 cents. I'll get off the horn here.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jamie. Appreciate it. Well, John, I tell you what, we are at the end of the radio show side of things here. So thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. Stay with me. We're going to go after hours on the YouTube channel, Dakota Prairie Outdoors Radio. So John, thank you, sir. Okay. Well, I guess he's not going to say thank you back. Check out my website, dakotaprairieoutdoors.com. Have yourself a great weekend. Eat some meat, drink some milk. I'll see you at the Fallon County Fair 4-H sale this afternoon. All right, radio stations, thank you. Appreciate you saying there. The rest of the YouTube side, John will bring Wayne back here on this. So what do you guys think if a guy does a side-by-side comparison from one unit to the next year and collect data? Give you a chance to weigh on my idea.
I'm looking for this email I got from this guy, so I have some information. So if there's some background noise, it's the music because I got you on speaker.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. But Wayne, I mean, wouldn't it be nice to compare something? I mean, give me both sides of the story here.
Well, I think that would be the excellent way to do it because you know if you look at a scientific study, they're doing a one blind study and against another. So I think that would be a perfect way to do it, and then you're going to get some concrete data that's going to show something because this is just right now it's just an overall piece, and like John said, like our 1% CWD here. It's used as a scare tactic, and yeah, that baiting they touch noses so much, and they transfer their saliva. Baiting has nothing to do with it. They're just
okay. So my neighbor has
some other avenue. Yeah.
My neighbor's got a big corn pile this year. I mean, he's going to have a silage pile like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, about 300 to 400 of his whitetail deer got EHD and died. And this year, whatever's left is going to be in that silage pile this winter. I guarantee it. All right. I mean, so what is a bait pile? I mean, is it going to get to the point where, hey, John, you can only put in 5-acre food plots because you can't put anything under 20 acres because anything under 20 acres is baiting, anything over that. So now you're going to limit what you have, what you can purchase for ground, what you can do with your private land. And it's all coming back to this 30 by 30. They want to control more land. And how are you going to do this? Let's give $70 million to these state agencies to do what?
Yeah.
And
I think that's where we have to push the agencies. They are government agencies. We are the government. We are the ones supporting that with our tax dollars. So I think that's where we have to start pushing it and say, you guys come up with a solution. We have an idea of what it takes, and it's the game farmers that are out there that are understanding this and have the solution.
They do,
but they need to, they need to take heed and listen to them and say, hey, these supplements work and we can do different things. But
so let's take these supplements. Let's take this and let's put out more. Like I always bring up Texas because I hunted down there. The Game and Fish in Texas wants them to put more feeders up. They get paid if you're a private landowner. If you want 300 feeders, they will pay you to put them there to spread the deer out. They found that baiting actually helps.
Oh, really? Sure.
Absolutely. So, I mean, so let's do a test run on that too. Let's say here's a unit where baiting is outlawed. Here's one where the Game and Fish Department is going to take $1.4 million and they're going to start spreading this out a little bit further and say, you know what? If you're a landowner and you're willing to sign up for this program, we want you to put these feeders all over the place, and we'll actually, and even in Texas, they get the corn or whatever it is that you put in there. You get so many bags per week done. All you have to do is go out and fill them up.
Right.
The problem in Texas that they have, though, is they have such a wild hog issue that they go through so much of that bait all the time, but it still spreads these deer out. It really does. And I've seen it firsthand how it works down there in the Uvalde area.
Well, that gentleman I was telling you about, I'm trying to find his email. He's from Center, and they took the information like Wayne that I shared with you with the guy from the humic acid, the whitetail in Wisconsin. Yep. He took the information from James Kroll. He's got all this information, and then he took the data from our Game and Fish and showed all the percentages over the years of CWD. We haven't changed. It's been 1%. So 99% is free. And it hasn't changed. The unit like 3F2, it's been non-baiting for how long? It hasn't changed. So CWD is going to spread. It's going to spread like it always does, or and if we didn't test right now, say we quit testing, you wouldn't even know we had CWD. You can't show me these deer dying from CWD. I have never in the Game and Fish. I mean, we get one or two that might be falling, but where are the pictures from people with deer in their yard falling over? EHD, we found pictures all over. So this guy from Lucky Buck got in front of the legislature, and I think he's from Michigan, and it's his business, and he went from 55 million, whatever it was that he made, and it just devastated him. But he has this thing, and he talks about it. So if you so they did a study, and there's studies out there, scientific studies, that deer will travel like 4 kilometers up to 5 miles to a natural salt lick. Okay, so that means every deer in that area goes to that natural salt lick. He says, just like you were saying, Scott, in Texas, by putting these mineral licks out every mile, quarter mile, whatever, it congregates that group of deer in that area to that spot, and it keeps them there. And it's the same way with food sources and things like that. They're not going to have to travel 5 miles to go to that one mineral lick. And that's where we get that, like when you have a haystack, if you had 5 haystacks on your place, there would be a certain amount of deer at each one. You have one haystack, you got them all there.
Yep.
It's the same way with minerals. So it spreads it out so that these deer, if they are contaminated, don't cross the zone as much as they would before. So there's a lot of science that they're not utilizing when they see these things.
So how about the devil's advocate saying, but if you're putting a mineral site out every quarter or half mile, all those deer are all going to lick out of that same one in that area. They have a higher percentage of touching noses and doing this, but that's what they're going to say. They're going to come at you with that.
But again, it's pretty easy to do the study. It's pretty easy to go. So go to that natural lick and check the soil versus these other ones. And again, I'm a firm believer that it's been here forever. It doesn't spread like they say.
No.
When, like I said, if you look at the information from Dr. Kroll and they talk about natural deer urine, 33 gallons they'd have to be exposed to. And it's the same thing with contaminated nose-to-nose contact, things like that. It's no different than humans with coronavirus. Just because you have coronavirus and you run into someone and you breathe on them doesn't mean they get sick. If they get the flu, doesn't mean they get sick. We have our own immunity, and deer have their own immunity, and they build that. And I think that over the years, they've built up immunity, and it's no different with EHD. That's why some of them, I think my bigger bucks made it, is because they were healthy. And they may have been bit earlier, a year before or whatever, and they built up an immunity to it. But again, this just freaking throwing money up in the air and not, like I said, I know I sound like a jackass, but show me the information. Show me your data, so then I'll shut up.
And I think it's Wyoming that had the study that they did some testing on some deer, and they found that they had some antibodies to the CWD. And if the Game and Fish Department will tell us that they say, you don't see them because it takes 3 to 5 years for them to die from this. Well, in that 3 to 5 years, they are getting hit by a car, they're getting harvested, they're shot, killed by a hunter or predator, or dying of in the wintertime or whatever it is.
Wayne, what I asked is, how in the hell do you know that? Show me that. Where's the data?
Yeah.
Where's the data that they're getting hit by cars? They're guessing. How do you know they got diabetes?
Right. And the thing there is, and if that's what they're saying, fine. But then don't worry about it. In a sense, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Because then don't worry about it. If they're going to die from some other causes, Yeah.
Yep. And the average average lifespan of a deer is 3.5 years, and it takes them. If they contact us, they say it's always fatal. Well, always fatal in 4 years, 5 years. It's like getting cancer. Let's just shoot everybody that has cancer.
Right.
You're gonna die. You're gonna die anyway, so we're gonna shoot you.
And John, I think on that, the game ranchers that had the folic acid and the humic acid, I think they had deer survive with CWD up to 9 years, I believe, wasn't it?
A 9-year-old doe, and she hadn't lost any weight except for losing natural weight of being a 9-year-old doe.
Yeah, and this is why it's so important for these guys to work with the deer farmers, because they have a controlled environment that they can do this. And here's another question. My question is, 1% of North Dakota's has CWD. 1%. Who's giving you that number? The Game and Fish
That's
is.
coming. Yeah, that's coming from the Game and Fish.
So you tell me they're going to tell you whatever number they want you to know. Give me a third party that has no vested interest in either side of this.
Right. And then again, but even at 1%, it's like 1% of the people that contact coronavirus are going to die. So is that 1% worth shutting your whole country down and destroying the economy? It's like, you can't panic, and that's what we do. We panic about everything.
Yeah. But not when you lose thousands of deer to EHD. That's no big deal, though.
And that was frustrating. I'm just worried about
that's one of the biggest questions. That's one of the biggest questions that comes up. It's how come you're not concerned about the EHD? And they say, well, it's a natural thing. They'll get some immunity to it. And it's true. That is a secular thing as well. And I think in about 6 years, we'll probably have another big one if we have a drought. And that's kind of the cycle that it runs. But I don't know. You'd think that they would be able to help mitigate somewhat. If they could do something with these midges, I don't know. That's a tougher one, I think. But
they can. Same thing. There's ways around it. If they truly want to use this money for the right thing and research it, they need to be talking with the people that have a controlled group that they can research it with.
Or
bottom line, you're not going to just make up your own pamphlet and when you use the same picture that every state in the United States uses one photo.
Yeah.
But hey,
Wayne, are you planning on going out to that one on Wednesday, Wayne?
I won't make it out there. No, we have got some issues at work.
I'm gonna do my damnedest to get out there and film it and record it so I can put it out there for
people.
Yeah,
please do. Yeah, and these conversations that have came up, and we have that small group that we're meeting with the Game and Fish Department. We've only met once, and we're planning more this winter, and these questions will come up too. We're looking at of course, the population overgrowth out in the Badlands, but these subjects come up, and the biologists sometimes they don't give us the answers because either they don't have them or they don't want to commit to anything. I think Well,
then they need to be truthful and say, you know what?
Yeah.
And when somebody asks me a question, I don't have an answer. I'm not going to give them shit. I'm going to say, you know what? I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that. If I find it, I will let you know, but not just shrug you off. And I'm tired of being shrugged off. I'm tired of just, they say, well, that's okay. It's like when I talk to them about changing the regulations for tagging a deer. It should not be tagged immediately. It should be has to be tagged before removal of kill site. That's it. No gray area.
Exactly.
Black and white. Yeah. So you can sit there all day long and take pictures if you want to, but if you put it in your garage, you're going to get a tag. But it's like I said, it leaves it up to the discretion of a warden, which again, there's some really great wardens, but I don't want the warden that doesn't like me. And if I don't tag my deer right away, they're going to give me a fine and take it away.
Yeah.
But they say, no, they don't care about that. They'll just say like, oh, it's worked, well enough. That's not the way it's supposed to work. And then with them having this CWD proclamation that was granted by the governor, it's kind of like the Corona thing. They can do whatever the hell they want. If they want to shut us down, they'll shut us down. We don't have a vote in it. And that's why people have to be really, really stand up for their rights on this, because they can put whatever they want in that CWD proclamation because they have the power from the governor to do it. I mean, that's why they've been able to take away baiting, where before they had to vote on it.
Yeah. So did this bill get passed? Is that all through the federal Congress now?
I think it's in the. I'm not sure, Scott. If you know, I think it went through this.
I just shut that. I just closed up that window that had that information. But I know it was done in April, is when they presented it, and it flew by both of it real quickly. It was like everybody says, "Oh, this is a no-brainer. We got to get some money and research into this." The problem with it is when they're going to actually start releasing the funds to do it. They don't have any information on that.
Sure.
So, but hey, guys.
All right, boys.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to go try to make some hay, and then I have the 4-H sale in Baker, Montana.
Hey, you want to move your equipment over to my place? You can cut some hay if you want.
Okay.
Hey, Scott, are you going to be down around your place next Friday?
I'm sure.
Okay.
That's the Slope County Fair. Slope County Fair next Friday, man. We have 3 days of wild entertainment in Amadon. I'll be around.
Are you doing? Is that where they have the bikini barrel races?
Damn straight, baby. Damn straight. Largest bikini barrel race in the upper Midwest.
Are we seeing you in it this year?
I'm the announcer, man. I'm sorry, but
do you announce in a bikini?
Yep, I sure do.
in a bikini, okay.
Stud muffin.
Yeah. I'll be out west probably next. Yeah. Have a good one, John.
All right.
Yeah, have a good one.
I'll be out west the next Friday in the area, and I thought, well, if nothing else, I may swing down there.
Yeah,
if I get a chance. So absolutely. I'll give you a call.
Okay.
Yeah,
sounds good, Wayne. We'll catch you later.
Take care.
Man.
You bet.
You bet.
You bet. Bye bye.
All right, YouTube. Hey, thank you guys for hanging on here a little bit. Appreciate the after hours. If you see or hear of anything in your area that's kind of a good story to get on the radio, feel free to message me 701-425-6651, or find me on social media and write me a message. Have a good day, guys. See ya.